Hey, what's up? This is Damien from 3 Sixes, and this is a video to explain the rack that we use. It's pretty much a centerpiece of all of our shows, and it does a lot of stuff for everybody, not just me. Here's what's in it, and here's how it works. So basically what it is it's a flight case. It's ATA approved, made by Pro Cases out of Vernon. There's the back, the front, and obviously, as you can see, it's got wheels. It's kind of heavy. It's easy to transport. Now, this was originally a 30-space rack. We had the whole thing almost completely filled when we first put it together, but we've taken some stuff out of it since then so that we got some extra space in there. It's good because it'll give us room in case we want to add more stuff later. As you can see, this just opens up pretty easily. And we have foam on the inside here. Now, what this foam does, it prevents, for some reason, if we're not in charge of loading this thing, it prevents the drawers from sliding and crashing into stuff. So it just bumps into foam the entire time. All the foam that we had done in here and in the drawer that I'm going to be talking about later was done from A1 Foam and Fabric in Santa Ana. It was cheap. They're great people and they do awesome work. The back comes off just as easily. Okay, now the pieces. First, we have a power conditioner right here. Everything plugs into that. You'll see that from behind. My wireless mic receiver, the laptop, the drawer that slides in and out, the Mackie board right here, which also slides in and out. Notice we got the straps right here, custom made straps. We have brackets and foam in between the brackets, so it pads it and it secures it. No matter what we do, if we turn this thing upside down, put it on its side, whatever, the gear is always secured at all times. But when we go to play, we undo the straps on this, obviously, which just pop off like this. And the laptop comes up, and we're good to go. Right here, we have a drawer, which holds my mic, batteries, various fittings of whatever that we need. And then down below, we have our drummer's trigger. Now, the main section here is the back. Okay, so the back, this is where everything happens. Everything runs through one plug right here. As you can see, everything's plugged in to it from behind. And if we need to see at night, our drummer was so kind enough to buy me these really cool lights. We have two DIs down here that condition the signal for the samples and for the kick drums. Now, the beauty of it is in the patch bay. This is what makes things super simple. You can see that everything here is labeled, and the labels are great. The cables from both snakes are labeled as well, but the color coding is what really makes things simple, so you can set up in a heartbeat. Now what happens is, instead of having all these cables going to and from, like the sound man or to our drummer or whatever, and it would take forever to set up that way, we have the patch bay. So like my wireless mic, the cord from the receiver comes out and comes into here, plugs into the snake, goes to the sound man. All the components that run to and from the rack are set up this way, so it's super easy to set up. All right, as you can see, this is super simple. Red to red, white to white, blue to blue. Again, they're all labeled, so in case something goes wrong when we're sound checking or whatever, we know which cable is what. Now this comes down here into two Velcro strips that are screwed into the back of the rack. The reason for that is to make sure we don't know where this is going to be. If it's backstage somewhere, or if it's I don't know, in a hallway or something when we're playing. If somebody happens to step on the cables accidentally, they won't rip out of the patch bay, so it slows it down. It's kind of like another fail-safe. These all go to the sound man. So once this is plugged in, we grab the other end, give the three cables to the sound man, and he's done, and he's stoked. We got conditioned signals that come to him. They're already in XLR, and we've had a lot of sound men thank us for this. The simplicity is awesome. And over here, this is just RPA that we use to practice with, but similar to what the house would have, just a much smaller version. Now, a sound man, once we plug in from the back, the three that go to him, come in just like this to their soundboard. So they got house vocal, samples, and kick. Once again, all the cables are labeled, so the house man can, you know, say, hey, we need more of this, that, this cable's bad, whatever. He knows what's going on. Then, this is the big one. This one goes to and from our drummer. We've got 7. He's got a 4-channel mixing board over there, and from this, he gets my vocals, the samples go to him, and the kicks go to him. That way he could hear his kicks, because a lot of times drummers can't, and it really sucks. Now what we have here, the samples in and the click in is to the backup. In case the laptop goes down, we have an MP3 player with the same set list that he could switch over to, and it's already run through here. Everything's the same. The problem with it is if we have to go to MP3s, is that we don't have 808s, which is a real drag. This also comes from him to the rack. That's for the kick. That goes down to the trigger that's in the front. That was for the left, and this one's for the right. These both go to the trigger, which gets sent out back through this to the house. Now this too is super simple to set up. Just grab the snake and plug them in. Those go in like that. Once again, we have the Velcro that's strapped right here. Keep people from tripping over it. And we have all the signals and the sound coming to and from our rack, and now we're ready to play. It's really that simple to set up. This thing is great. And then once we're done doing that, we just shut off the light, hit the stage, and we're ready to roll. All right, now that we have everything plugged in, mic's turned on, laptop is turned on, and it's at the song that we want. I take a USB cable that comes from my foot pedal right here, and it plugs in to here. And this is how I'm going to control the songs. So when I'm ready to go, I look back at our drummer, make sure he's ready to go, check out the other guys, make sure they're there. Cool. Hit this. This is the play button. He gets the 4 clicks. That clicks it off, and all the samples come in right there. So what happens is I hit the stop start button right here. It tells the laptop to play. The laptop sends a signal out to the Mackie board. Now, one signal gets sent out to the house. The other signal gets sent back to our drummer through the snake that I mentioned earlier, where he hears everything in the 4-channel board that's got everything plugged into it. When a song's over with, depending on how we program the set, sometimes it's programmed, the song will end automatically. Sometimes we'll bleed them song into song, and other times, you know, I'll stop and start it myself. And when I do that, I just hit this button again. It stops the song. And when I gotta fast forward it, I'll be talking in between, you know, songs or whatever. Those guys are getting a drink of water, wiping down, whatever. I just hit this, and it moves the song. Boom. So while I'm talking, we have the songs in order of how we're going to do it. And if I go too far, I can always hit the middle button. We don't use that very much, but it's right there to go back and back. So we can navigate around that way, but we always know what the set's going to be. We normally have them taped everywhere. That one's an old one. So we know what's going on. We practice the set over and over and over, so it becomes second nature. So like on the last tour, we opened up with these 4 right in a row. We did Savior, Lead Winged Angel, Truth, and IFTD. I just hit this once, the pedal. It fires off all those songs, and we just keep going. Now, once IFTD stops, the samples were set to stop at that point. So what I would do is, as those guys are doing whatever, I'm talking to the crowd, hey, yo, we're 3/6s, yada, yada, yada. I just hit this button. As I'm talking, it switches songs over to the next set. In this case, it would be Hand of Hell, Saint and Arch Enemy. And I'm talking. I noticed Kill has got his guitar ready. Johnny's ready. Look back over at John behind drums. Everything's cool. And I just hit play, and we go. So there's a lot going on, even though it doesn't look like there's much going on, but we just keep everything concealed. The pedal is below the light box for two reasons. Number one, so I always know where it's at. And number two, to stop me from walking around, because I like to move around a lot, and hitting one of the buttons and stopping the song, because that would suck. But yeah, man, that's it. This is how 3/6 rolls. This is what the rack is, what it does, and we're pretty stoked on it, man. So got any questions, hit me up.